Welcome back, everyone, to another fascinating deep dive into the world of American coins. Today, we are going to explore a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but carries with it a unique story, surprising details, and a hidden value that has captured the attention of coin collectors across the country. I am talking about the 2020 No Mint Mark 1 cent penny. Now, most of us have seen and handled pennies almost every day. They slip through our fingers as change at the store, sit at the bottom of jars, or get tossed aside because of their small denomination. But here's the reality. Sometimes, the smallest coin can hide the greatest value. And when it comes to the 2020 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, this is a perfect example of why you should never underestimate what may look like an ordinary cent. To understand why this penny is so interesting, let's first step back and talk about its origins and why mint marks matter in the first place. Since 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the coin has been struck at different U.S. mint facilities. Each mint has its own identifying mark, usually a small letter that appears beneath the date on the obverse, or front, of the coin. For example, D stands for Denver, S stands for San Francisco, and P represents Philadelphia. However, there's an interesting twist. For most of its history, Philadelphia did not place a mint mark on coins like the penny. This is why, when you look at certain coins, you may see no mint mark at all. It often means the coin was struck in Philadelphia. The 2020 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny falls into this tradition. These coins were produced in large numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, and as a result, they are missing any identifying letter beneath the date. To the untrained eye, this absence might not seem significant, but for coin collectors, such details can make a huge difference in value and rarity. The year 2020 was also significant in U.S. history for many reasons. The country was facing unprecedented challenges, and coin production itself experienced unusual disruptions. During that time, the U.S. Mint had to adjust operations because of the global pandemic. This meant coin shortages across the nation, and many Americans remember going to banks or stores and finding that pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters were harder to come by. The 2020 Lincoln penny was right in the middle of this strange situation, making it a memorable piece for collectors who see it as a symbol of that turbulent year. Now, let's move on to the design itself. The obverse side of the 2020 penny features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln. Originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, Lincoln's image has remained one of the most enduring coin portraits in U.S. history, making this cent not just currency, but also a tiny tribute to one of the nation's greatest presidents. Along with Lincoln's profile, the coin displays the word liberty on the left, the year 2020 on the right, and the famous motto, "In God We Trust" at the top. On the reverse, we see the shield design, which has been in use since 2010. This Union shield features 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, with a horizontal bar at the top symbolizing unity under one government. Across the shield is a scroll bearing the inscription E Pluribus Unum, which means out of many one. At the top of the shield is the phrase 1 cent, reminding us of its denomination. This shield design replaced the earlier Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had been in circulation for decades. Even though billions of these coins were made, collectors seek out special characteristics that set certain examples apart from the rest. For the 2020 No Mint Mark penny, this often comes down to condition, errors, and die varieties. Let's talk about condition first. Coins are graded based on their state of preservation, ranging from heavily worn to perfect mint state. A penny straight from circulation, with scratches and wear, might only be worth its face value. But one in pristine condition, without any marks, with full details, and that beautiful mint luster, can be worth much more. Collectors prize these top-grade examples because they are far harder to find. Then there are the error coins. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes occur, leading to coins that look unusual or different. This can include double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, and more. Some 2020 pennies have been found with dramatic errors, making them highly collectible. For example, a coin with doubling on the date or lettering can become incredibly valuable. Not just because it's rare, but because it's a mistake that slipped through quality control. Collectors love owning something unique like that. Another fascinating aspect is die varieties. These are coins that may have subtle differences caused by the dies used during production. Sometimes a small detail is altered or struck in a way that stands out, and that becomes a variety worth collecting. For the 2020 No Mint Mark penny, there have been reports of minor doubling and other small anomalies that specialists pay close attention to. But beyond errors and varieties, the true charm of this penny lies in the story it tells. Think about it for a moment. A coin that most people pass over without a second glance could actually hold more value than they realize. It's almost poetic. The smallest denomination, often tossed aside or ignored, can end up being the star of a collection. That's why so many collectors encourage everyday people to check their change carefully. You never know when you might find a gem hiding in plain sight. Now, let's consider the journey of a penny. From the moment it leaves the U.S. Mint, it enters the flow of commerce. It may pass through vending machines, be dropped on sidewalks, tucked into piggy banks, or sit forgotten in drawers. Each penny has a story, and each carries a piece of history. The 2020 No Mint Mark penny carries with it the memory of a year when the world changed, when the U.S. Mint itself faced challenges, and when coins became scarce in everyday transactions. Owning one in high grade, or with a rare error, connects collectors to that unique chapter in time. Another reason collectors chase these coins is the thrill of discovery. Imagine opening a roll of pennies from the bank, expecting nothing more than common change, and suddenly spotting something unusual about the coin in your hand. That moment of realization, that you may be holding a coin worth far more than 1 cent, is what fuels the passion of so many numismatists. It's like treasure hunting, except the treasure is hidden in plain sight, within everyday money. The Lincoln Cent series is also one of the most popular coin series in the United States. Millions of people collect them, and for many, the penny is the very first coin they add to their collection. This makes the 2020 penny especially desirable, as it represents both a modern continuation of a historic series and a potential source of unexpected value. Collectors know that today's common coin can become tomorrow's rarity, depending on how history unfolds and how many examples survive in top condition. So, how do you know if your 2020 No Mint Mark penny is valuable? First, examine the coin carefully. Look for errors such as doubling, cracks, or misaligned strikes. Next, consider the condition. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, those that show no signs of wear, are always worth more than worn examples. Lastly, keep an eye out for certified coins. Professional grading services evaluate and encapsulate coins, assigning them a grade that collectors can trust. A penny graded at the very top of the scale can bring impressive prices at auctions. Over time, coins like this tend to gain even more attention, especially as collectors realize how few perfect examples exist. What might look like just another penny to one person could be a hidden prize to someone who knows what to look for. This is why knowledge is power in the world of coin collecting. The more you learn about small details and minting history, the better prepared you are to recognize treasure when it comes your way. Now, here comes the part you've all been waiting for, the actual value. After considering demand, rarity, and condition, some 2020 No Mint Mark Lincoln pennies in exceptional state have already sold for remarkable prices at auctions. In fact, one particularly stunning example reached a value of $8,736.